Hey everyone, welcome back to Off Trail Treasures, where I try to find things that were lost, discarded, and forgotten with my metal detector. I have a little bit of an intro, a different kind of an intro this week for where I wound up metal detecting. The primary reason for that was when I got there, I saw that the old trees on the property, of which there were many, all had, I mean, it's really hard to estimate, but and I'll throw in some pictures of here of an example of exactly what I'm talking about. But they must have had, gosh, 10, 8, 10, 12 inches of fill dirt brought in. I could tell it visually, and then I asked the homeowner, who had only been there for, I believe, 5 years, and they confirmed that the previous owners had brought in a bunch of fill dirt because the area was constantly really wet and soggy, and so they wanted to bring up the level of the ground that they walk on to try and help with that. And that actually meant something to me for the reason that I was there, because in my research of this particular house, I discovered that it was likely originally a location where they bottled spring water from a spring that was really nearby. The spring was so popular for the folks living in downtown St. Louis at the turn of the 20th century, in around 1900, 1905, that the train station actually created a stop there and named it after this spring. And so there was a bottling company right here, and in 1905, when this house was built, and I'm referencing a 1908 map, I believe, their house is the only one on the entire map, and it is building, not house necessarily, but a building that's marked on this hand-drawn map, and it is a bottling facility. And the bottling facility was actually the second company in all of the state of Missouri to apply for a trademark. So there's a lot of history here, and there was probably a lot of money changing hands here, because once the train station established a stop, people would come in from the city and come to this location to purchase their spring water, because the water in downtown St. Louis wasn't clean enough for them to drink. So a lot of really great history, and so, but when I got there, really disappointed to see massive amounts of fill dirt. I went ahead and put together a short little video, and hope you guys like what you see. Like and subscribe if you like this sort of metal detecting video, and we will be back here hopefully next week with another one. We'll see you then. All right, it's a little windy out today, and I am on a very busy road. Hopefully you guys won't have too much trouble hearing me, but I've got a kind of a jumpy signal, not kind of jumpy, from 35 to 46 over here in the hole. Having a little bit of a challenge with, I don't know if it's ground mineralization or electric running through the yard, but it is causing the detector to go nuts. So I'm trying to work through that right now. But either way, we got our first hole here, and I wanted to film whatever comes out of the first hole. So let's take a look. I'm not even positive if I have it out of the hole yet. Sound like I do. Let's take a look. Oh, what is this gonna be? Huh, I don't know what that is. Kind of a brassy color coming through there. Not really sure what I'm looking at. Almost looks bullet-like, but I'm not sure. This would be a really weird place for a bullet, but look at that coppery look coming through. And I'll try to get that cleaned up later, and if it's anything interesting, I'll bring it back. This is my struggle right now. I am near some power lines. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off now that you guys have heard it. I am near some power lines, but I moved away from the power lines and it didn't get any better. So I'm thinking there may be something buried, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. When I bring it down quite a bit, that is helping some. So I'm going to start off kind of low and see what it looks like when I head to a different part of the yard. Let's keep going. All right, my shovel is right there. Up closer to the really Just a really beautiful old house. Love the look of it, love the location, and what a cool looking yard. I'm sure the family enjoys the heck out of it. But I am right here with a 45, 46 signal in the hole, right under the shovel. All right, still right under the shovel. But I wanted to come to the other side. Hopefully the tree behind the camera blocks the wind a little bit better. All right, now it's a solid 42 in the plug. Over here. Okay. Looks like, yeah, can't quite tell what that is. But nothing too valuable or interesting. Let's keep going. See, this is not something that I would normally record, except what makes it interesting is that we are in the middle of suburbia, and so this shotgun shell has to have quite a bit of age to it in order for it to have ever been something that would have been expended in this sort of area. This has got to be relatively old. It says Winchester repeater on it, and it's a 12 gauge. I don't know if it has anything else on it, but yeah, to find something like this in the area that I am at right now, one of the very first suburbs for the city of St. Louis, you know that this, given the way it looks now, you know this is old and this was expended quite a long time ago. So that's a pretty cool find, given where we're at. All right, let's keep going. A lot of times when we're using old documents and stuff, we are putting together pieces of a puzzle that we don't always have great documentation for. So I try not to make real concrete statements about things like this definitely being the place where the early business where the spring water was bottled and sold, but I did just find evidence of potentially the spring coming right through here. So that could be an indicator that that is exactly where we're at. But I've got my shovel up there in the middle of the yard, and I've got a solid 29 signal in the hole. We're going to go ahead and dig it and see what we got. We've got some yard work going on, road, and some wind all in one. I'm going to remind myself of the depth we were looking at. Got a little bit of depth to it, maybe 3-4 inches. Look, it looks like some kind of a button. It says key, and I can't tell if that's a modern button. Oh, it's a modern button. Know the name or the word key for a button off the top of my head, and I can't tell if that's a modern sort of shank on the back. Let me clean this up real quick on the back and see what I can find out. Well, that didn't take very long. There it is, cleaned up in the back. That looks modern to me. I don't think it's anything of any age, but there we go. Let's keep going. And I'm right back where I was because my other signals are still here. Probably some modern coinage near the top. Yep, that is a modern dime. That's what it was, just a modern dime. All right, let's keep going. Well, this is certainly a first for me. Found a nail, and looks like pretty standard, except, see if you guys can see that. Ooh, that wind is bad. It's got a star on the top of it. So I don't know if that meant it was for like a furniture tack and it would be exposed or what, but that's super interesting. All right, I've got a 44, 45 at the hole. Well, more in the plug. Right down there. Up here. Maybe I didn't miss it. Maybe it was in the bottom of the plug. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's going to be another modern dime. That's it. All right. Let's keep going. Well, I've continued to struggle with what I think is mineralization in the ground. I'm not entirely certain, but I was trying a bunch of different options, and I wound up on 4 kilohertz in field mode, and it completely quieted it down to what I'm used to. And so that's what I'm using right now, and I have a 41 target right under the shovel. Let's take a look. Now it's a 33. I'm in the vicinity of that one broken pod or whatever it was that I said I would try to avoid digging. I would not be surprised if that's what this was. Nope. I'm not really sure. It appears to be a piece of metal. All right, let's keep going. This might be one of my last holes. 46, 47 signal. A little bit of depth to it. I wouldn't say a ton, but very close to the surface. Piece of these are the crypt cables and attach connector to the end of a cable or something like that. All right, we're gonna detect back to the car and probably call it quits for today. I've got to get home, got to get to work. Let's see if we can eke out maybe one more signal.